Well, happy Taco Tuesday, everybody. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boost Sports Report. Without you guys and you ladies, this literally does not work. All right, so I'm doing all kinds of stuff today, okay? I got stuff in the backyard I got to take care of. I got stuff in the workshop to take care of. I got paperwork here that I'm doing, so I'm literally bumping around. And I've got TVs on everywhere because I'm trying to make sure that I don't miss anything. And I just came through, and the TV happened to be on to the Colin Cowherd show. And I'm looking, I'm like, that's Sean Lee on there. So I'm actually going to watch it, because you can only watch this one time. You can only watch Colin Cowherd, one time. You don't want to do it over and over again. So I have no idea what Sean Lee is going to say. So let's watch it together.
When you wake up in the morning, do you just think, I'm a broadcaster? Is it hard?
I'm still struggling with it, and it depends on the day. You wake up in the morning, and that competitive side of you is saying, "What are you doing retiring?" But then when I go and I work out in the hard, and I try to wake up from that, and I barely can walk. There's a reason why I'm retiring. I said this before. You pour gasoline on the fire for 25 years, it's hard to put it out. So, I love playing for the Cowboys. I love it, but I think it's time to be done, and I've enjoyed it. When you never think of it in the moment because you're so locked in and winning, and it takes so much work to be great. But, slowly and surely, certain days the body doesn't feel right. I had surgery last year. I had to have my eye reconnected to my pelvic bone. Right at the beginning of the season, having to deal with that in a season. And I think you start to think of your family. You think of the long-term aspect of what you put your body through. And it's just time. It's so hard because I love the sport. And I put so much time in. I started when I was 9. And I loved every moment to be able to play. And playing linebacker, playing for the Cowboys, putting all that time in the study. Where does that energy go? And that's something that I think a lot of us, is how he faces adversity. Anytime there's adversity, he says, bring it on. And that's why I know with the injury he has, he's coming back better than he was.
So last year was a trying year. Listen, Cowboys' offensive personnel is really good. They have to address the O-line next year. This year, they address the defense. But there was a point last year, Sean, where, and I think it's pretty well documented, Mike McCarthy had to fire the DC, that tells you, where there were times it looked like, I don't like to use the word quit, but there was just no juice defensively. It just wasn't there. Mike Nolan's scheme wasn't working with the players. As you well know, it's all about the buy-in. If players don't buy in, we see it in the NBA. The Knicks have bought into Tom Thibodeau.
Sure.
They're limited, but they bought into him. Was there a point last year where you just knew this scheme, this team is just not working? Players aren't buying in.
Well, I don't know if we didn't buy in, but we knew early that we weren't playing defense the right way. You look at some of the games and the rush yards we gave up. Some of the times our offense early was playing great. Dak was playing unbelievable, and we weren't able to support them. I'll say this, though. We did fight as the year went on. And defensively, we slowly got better and better. Now, I think with Dan Quinn, kind of going back to a defense we've played, I think Dan, the type of motivator he is, the type of defense he calls, he's won a Super Bowl as a coordinator. He's almost won as a head coach. Just from what I've heard over there, the guys love him. So I think we'll get back to playing defense the right way. But there's no question. I think scheme-wise, we took a big jump in a different direction. I think we didn't have an offseason, and it showed early on. We struggled, but I know a lot of those guys are frustrated with what happened, especially some of our linebackers, and they're ready to make plays.
Well, being a Dallas Cowboy, now, again, that's your career, so you don't have a lot. Penn State was a kind of not great when you got there, better when you left. But to be a Cowboy, it's your only NFL life, so there's nothing to compare it to. But you obviously played with guys who came from other organizations. Just give me, could you go to a grocery store? What was it like?
Oh, it's incredible. The tradition, walking in there and seeing the tradition that they have and the guys who've won Super Bowls. I used to get calls from Leroy Jordan when I was injured, trying to motivate me to come back. And so we saw it as an extreme responsibility to try to live up to what they did in the past. I said, I wore that on my sleeve every day. When I came in this facility, I'm like, I get to be a Cowboy? Are you kidding me? In this facility, in this state, with the support that we can get. And even through all my injuries, what I loved was I got support from so many fans, no matter what I came back from, and teammates, and from Mr. Jones. So to me, I probably would have been in the league a long time ago if I wasn't a Cowboy.
Yeah. What was your relationship? What was, you probably had an agent, what was negotiating like with Jerry Jones?
Oh, everybody at some point negotiates with Jerry.
Really?
You have agents, but the way they run it, it's a family business. They treat you like family. And so, yeah, I know this after my surgeries, or after, I did a bunch of injuries, but I had 3 years in a row where I had to have surgery. And after every surgery, when I knew I had to go in there, Mr. Jones called me, picked me up off the floor, and said, "Hey, listen, you're going to come back from this. You're going to come back better." So the way he treated me, the way Steven, the whole family, I mean, they really run it like a family business. And to me, we all want to give back to them and try to win because of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
When you look at the Cowboys going forward, again, sometimes it's a salary cap league. You have to make choices. I thought this year, and I totally agreed with their perspective this year, they just went defense. They just said, we're going to go defense. I think next year they have to address the offensive line. How concerned are you? There are so many starts and so many years with that offensive line. We've added a game in the NFL. The NFC East tends to be a physical division. I just saw Ryan Kerrigan now. He's back in Philadelphia. Is it a legitimate concern to go, that O-line is old, and by week 12, I went and looked the other day, Sean, their last 6 games are all good pass rushes.
Yeah.
Is that a legitimate concern?
Well, I think one of the underrated stories from last year, obviously Dak went down, but we started the season without our 2 tackles, Ty Smith and Lyle Collins. And then at the end of the year, Zach Martin went down with a calf and was gone. So as much as we missed those guys on the O-line, I think they're still great football players. I think they're going to come back and be all right. But we know when they go down, it changes the type of team we have. But I think when you get all 3 of those guys back, you get that Dak back, that offense is going to roll. The question really is, what can we do defensively? We have to play better defensively.
Yeah. It's quarterbacks are so. I saw a stat the other day where Dak made $107 million, like international soccer star money, and
we were killing him about it. We were texting him like,
it's like, wow, those yogurt commercials really
$7 million.
The quarterback's different in this league. If Russell Wilson complains, it's different than a safety complaining. If Aaron Rodgers complains or Deshaun Watson, different. I mean, they're $30 million a year guys. Did Dak and Jerry have a different relationship than Sean Lee and Jerry?
Well, I think Dak, what makes him special is that he leads from the front. He doesn't want a different relationship. He wants to be running with you. He wants to be lifting with you. I mean, that's why I think from day one, guys loved him so much. It's because he's going around the locker room talking to everybody. The rookies that are in the back locker room, you'll find him back there talking to them. So for him, that never was an issue. And really for our team, that was never an issue. He was always part of the guys, part of us. And so when he did get paid, and when we celebrated, we love it. We were juiced because he deserves it. And he's worked for it.
You know, the history of the Cowboys is Jerry's not afraid to, as he said once on our show, he never signs up for a bad time. Jerry loves to talk. He loves to be front and center. That's one of the things we love about him. They took some gambles on draft picks this year. Some guys that had, a little bit of luggage. And there's always been this sense, boy, Dallas, a lot of beautiful people. It's easy to get in trouble. That was the reputation 80s, 90s. I don't know it because I don't live in that world now. Is it if you're a young player and you come in and you like to have a good time and you're a little loose, and is it easy to get in trouble in Dallas, or do they keep their eye on you there?
Well, I think we know that the history's there. Everybody's watching it, and I've always said to young guys, we haven't done anything. Those guys are the ones that built this program. You have a responsibility to act the right way, to work every single day. Like, you can't lean on that. And I think also some of the leaders in the locker room, they know that. They're not going to let certain things slide or things get
Preach it.
That's when I talk about Dak, Zach Martin, talk about Leighton Vander Esch, Jalen Smith. I mean, those guys know what it takes to win, and they're not going to allow any of that to really get going. I loved basketball when I was a kid, and I got ran off the court because I wasn't very good, but I'm playing every day. And you think that you go back to where you were when you were 18, but now when I'm on the court, I mean, it's airball, plank. I mean, I'm trying to get something competitive going, but that's the thing, the outlet. Where is it, and where to find it? It's
not
hard.
the gym.
It's hard. It's the gym. I'm the gym. I wake up. I say I'm playing basketball and lifting weights, which is fun. But for me, the football, the camaraderie, the meetings, driving up to the facility, and you got the Giants on Sunday night. I mean, that is the stuff you're going to miss.
Good for you. Sean Lee, former Cowboy, Pro Bowl linebacker. It's great seeing you. Loved having you in today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys.
Man, that was great. I hope the YouTube police don't get me because I want you to see the whole thing. He actually gave a lot of insight onto the Cowboys. You know what? I think I said this morning. It's so crazy because I say that a lot of times we get guys that are arrogant because, I'm a Dallas Cowboy, and they feel like they're anointed that, because I'm a Cowboy, all I got to do is show up. I made the team. Then that means I'm part of the legacy that is. Sean Lee just pointed it out. You young guys, you haven't done shit. You just got here. Those guys were the legends. Those were the guys that built this team. Those guys are the ones that made America's team America's team. You ain't done anything yet. It's now behooves you to live up to their standards. And I loved a couple of things, where Colin Cowherd, he says a nice thing. Oh, when Dak, threw that piece of trash and it missed the trash can, he showed great character by picking it up, putting it in there, and that's what you need as a quarterback. He's not a great thrower. It's like, here we go. It's like, do you have to go ahead and do the backhanded slap with them, as you're going through and praising him? On the defense for last year, he admits that, we knew we weren't playing great. We knew we weren't playing the right way. With Dan Quinn coming in, the players are buying into what he's doing and also doing some of the things that they're familiar with and tweaking and stuff. He thinks he's going to be successful. And of course, Dak Prescott. Wow. He made $107 million last year in endorsements. Damn! Hey, show me the money. So that was a great interview. Sean Lee, this is the problem for most players when they retire is my body has been getting used to getting ready to play football. I've been doing this for not just my NFL career, my college career, high school, little league. It's been part of your life for so long. And in your 30s, you're now retired and having to figure out, what do I do with this vacuum that used to be football? It's a tough adjustment for a lot. And that's why you see a lot of guys that don't want to hang it up or hang on for too long because they're scared of the unknown and what's next. Shout out to Sean Lee. He's always been a Jobu Sports favorite, a stand-up guy in the community, on the team, and leadership-wise, definitely he will be missed with the Cowboys. I'm Mark Holmes. I'll see you later. Great interview.